As Triple H sat on the post-show panel of the 2026 Rumble, he was met with chants of UF'd up, Vince McMahon, and AEW. Now in the same breath, these fans would then chant for Roman Reigns, the man that Triple H had booked to win the Men's Royal Rumble. So what exactly went wrong? How did Triple H manage to upset the Saudi fans despite booking their favourite wrestler to win the match? And how on earth did Triple H cause so much upset within the IWC that fans are once again calling for a creative overhaul in WWE? Seems that 2026's WWE Royal Rumble was a masterclass in failure. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Now, Triple H once again made the crucial mistake of labeling the Royal Rumble as epic and full of surprises before the show. Triple H falls into this trap every single PLE, and it never goes down well. Even if Triple H delivered the most critically acclaimed show in the world, there's always going to be a fan that takes his word as gospel and feels disappointed with the outcome, so it's best if Triple H just keeps his mouth shut when it comes to the promotion. It must have been extremely confusing for the game on the post-show panel as he was heckled by fans in Saudi Arabia, as on paper, this is a show that the Saudi fans should have liked. However, the Saudi crowd evidently wanted to see the return of Chris Jericho in the match, and this was proven thanks to the thunderous chants of Y2J on the post-show panel. It is worth noting that WWE have actively teased Jericho coming into the company thanks to tributes and matches, but he was never officially teased for the Royal Rumble, and the last thing we knew about him is that he's still listed on the AEW website as a contracted talent. The Women's Royal Rumble. Coming out of the show, the strong consensus is that the Women's Rumble stole the show. This was a clear focus in the match of making new stars. Lash Legend, Sol Ruka, and Kiana James all had career-defining moments. And when Liv Morgan took the W, the match felt satisfactory. With that being said, the match did present some problems within WWE. Numerous women such as Zelina Vega received zero reaction from the live crowd. Vega is a 10-year veteran in the company, and there's no excuse for her receiving no reaction whatsoever. Her lack of reaction once again spoke volumes when it comes to the importance of a theme song, as when a generic lifeless song was playing, you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. WWE needs to assess why certain names aren't connecting and rebuild them from the ground up, as WWE has so many names that are just struggling to connect in any capacity, and within some cases, it's entirely due to their theme song alone. The Men's Royal Rumble. Now, there's a ton of criticism being directed at the Men's Royal Rumble, and the majority of it has a ton of merit. The first thing that fans have an issue with is Bron Breakker's presentation. Breakker was their second favourite to win the match behind Roman Reigns, as he ended up being eliminated in just 10 seconds. WWE would then deliver another masked man mystery to take out Breakker, and whilst this was unpredictable, it made the supposedly next face of WWE look completely incompetent. WWE are seemingly building towards a Breakker vs Seth Rollins match for WrestleMania, but this does seem to suggest that WWE has already moved on from the idea of Breakker being that guy. Further evidence of this comes from the commentary during the match. Obafemi was labelled as the future face of WWE countless times during the match, and this commentary line was previously used exclusively for Breakker. Something has changed when it comes to Breakker, and it could be a concerning time to be a fan of the former NXT champion. Another huge error in the match came from a basic lack of understanding when it came to the crowd. Numerous spots were taken up by AAA talent, and the Saudi crowd didn't have a clue who these names were. All of them received zero reaction, and their inclusion didn't even elevate the match or any spots in any way, shape or form. Their inclusion was frustrating, especially due to the sheer amount of talent that was left off the Rumble this year. Most notably, Finn Balor was omitted, and WWE decided to omit US champion Carmelo Hayes, despite Hayes being considered by many to be one of the future main eventers in the company. The Rumble was a clear case of WWE failing to have their priorities in order, and this was seen with the countless face-offs that Damian Priest had that once again received absolutely no reaction at all. It's clear WWE were trying to force moments in the match, but that's hard to do in a Rumble itself. Everyone remembers The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin sitting in their respective corners at 2001's Royal Rumble, or Edge soaking in the crowd at the 2020 Rumble. These moments felt genuine and raw, and you just can't manufacture these styles of moments. It felt like WWE were trying to put together a Rumble that would appeal to the Saudi fans, but they just failed to understand what they actually like as viewers. Sure, the Saudi audience wanted the top names and some returning legends, but they also wanted compelling narrative moments that didn't feel forced and scripted for, well, WWE unreal. And well, something needs to also be said about Rusev. Rusev's Royal Rumble performance was downright embarrassing. The man only lasted 32 seconds in the ring. This man was having matches with the likes of John Cena at WrestleMania, and now he's just lightly jogging down to the ring for 32 seconds of action? You knew exactly what he was thinking when he was eliminated. Other confusing omissions from the Rumble also include AJ Lee in the Women's Rumble, Blake Monroe and Tatum Paxley. As for the Men's Rumble, there was no reason why we couldn't see Carmelo Hayes, Shinsuke Nakamura, any of the Wyatt Six members, or even Kit Wilson. Hell, even having Jeff Hardy in the Rumble would have popped the crowd enormously. What a massive missed opportunity. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was without a doubt the most established name in the Royal Rumble this year. Now, Lesnar's booking and presentation in the Royal Rumble has been a mixed bag over the years. We saw in 2020 that Lesnar can be used to create iconic Royal Rumble moments, but we also saw in 2022 that Lesnar can completely half-ass his appearances. Sadly, the latter approach was taken this year. Lesnar lasted only 5 minutes, and in these 5 minutes, he had a lifeless stare down with Obafemi, eliminated some random names, no soul for Ilya Dragunov, and basically did nothing. Then when Jey Uso made his entrance, Lesnar was unceremoniously eliminated by Cody Rhodes and LA Knight. What really should have been the biggest elimination in the match wasn't even picked up on, resulting in one of the worst Rumble botches of all time. It was clear from Lesnar's face after the spot that he was furious, and we still don't know how on earth this occurred. Now, this being the reality era of WWE, we can't rule this being a scripted spot for WWE Unreal 3, or it's possible that WWE messed up big time with this spot. Lesnar could have been used to elevate younger stars in the match, but it was a complete waste of time. And it was almost as if WWE wanted Lesnar just out of there. Lesnar is still rumored to face Gunther at WrestleMania, and the fact that Gunther was in the match, yet WWE didn't think to book them to interact, is alarming to say the very least. Yeet no more. The Jey Uso entrance has officially run its course. At the Royal Rumble, the infamous entrance made Jey Uso look like a complete novelty act rather than someone who is a credible former world champion. Jey Uso was booked to be more focused on yeeting rather than winning the match, and Jey's entire arc revolves him around wanting to trust Roman Reigns and ultimately being backstabbed. This isn't a compelling babyface arc in the slightest, and it's probably for the best that Jey is now a tag team wrestler again, as there's no chance in hell that the crowd takes him seriously as a main eventer ever again. Roman Reigns. Now, as expected, Roman Reigns won the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble, so why exactly are fans upset? Well, despite being predictable, it's questioned if Reigns needed to win the match at all. Reigns can easily slot into a main event match at WrestleMania without this win. He did it last year after all. Reigns is now coming for the world title, and a lot of criticism comes from the fact that Reigns is a part-timer. Let's face it, Reigns isn't going to be on SmackDown and Raw each week to build a match, and this is going to lead to CM Punk seemingly doing all the work himself. It was also alarming that Triple H admitted on the post-show that he has no idea when fans could see Reigns again. There's also concern that Reigns is going to win the world title and have a year-long reign with the title. This will eventually lead to a match versus The Rock next year at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Now, whilst this isn't confirmed, we can't rule this out. Reigns winning the world title does absolutely nothing for the WWE product, unless he works more dates, and it doesn't appear that this is the plan. Fans have also called out Reigns for claiming that WWE doesn't make new stars, then agreeing to win the Royal Rumble 24 hours later. WWE is now trying to work these comments into a storyline, but these are clearly Reigns' own personal feelings. So what happens next? The consensus coming out of the Royal Rumble is that the concept is somewhat stale. The match felt put together, manufactured, and lacked any sense of authenticity. WWE failed to understand what the audience truly wanted out of the Rumble this year, and this has really hurt the reputation of the 2026 installment. Unfortunately, it's unlikely that any changes will be made to how the match is booked and presented. The show last year was even more successful than WrestleMania when it came to Netflix views, so the fans still love tuning in even if the concept itself needs a creative reshape. The main complaint coming out of the match, specifically the men's, is that nobody looked better coming out of the match. Rusev, Rey Fenix, Bron Breakker were all eliminated in a matter of seconds, and even popular stars such as Trick Williams were booked to do absolutely nothing. WWE needs fresh blood and unique ideas in the creative team when it comes to the product, especially the Rumble. Michael Hayes was once again one of the names who produced the Men's Royal Rumble, and it's just rather alarming that a man who was exposed for being out of touch with modern day wrestling is still being given the biggest producer role on the show. It just makes no sense, and WWE are refusing to make any concrete changes. The current WrestleMania card looks somewhat bleak on paper. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre have been feuding since the summer, but based on the Royal Rumble, the two will be running it back. This feud has no heat whatsoever. They just had a 3 stages of hell match, and that hasn't even ended the feud. The only wildcard in this is Jacob Fatu being inserted into the feud. Punk vs Reigns could be excellent, but that's if Reigns commits to showing up, as Punk selling a WrestleMania Night 2 closer by himself every week won't be entertaining as a viewer. The rest of the card appears to be up in the air. There are a lot of big players without clear direction, and this is concerning, as the Rumble could have been used to plant the seeds for matches at the biggest show of the year. WWE would do the typical accidental elimination spot numerous times during the broadcast, but this felt repetitive in nature and don't appear to be building towards solid WrestleMania programs. Hopefully for next year, WWE goes back to the drawing board with the Rumble. It's urged that they put focus on new talents whilst bringing in legends so fans can give them their flowers. But the key is giving fans a compelling, gripping Rumble with twists and turns that ultimately returns the Rumble to once again becoming the most exciting WWE event of the calendar. What do you guys think of the Rumble this year? Do you agree with this? Let us know in the comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.